Welcome everyone for our podcast today. And especially today, we have an amazing guest with who, personally, I can say even after 5 minutes of talking, you can already feel how knowledgeable and how much experience that person has in real estate market. Today we have Omar with us, who is previously worked in one of the biggest developers as a vice president of marketing and business development, as well as have an experience of working for another major developer here in Dubai. And now Omar currently have his own company. And I believe that it's like a little dream for everyone in the real estate industry when you're working as an agent or a developer at some point to open your own company. So very happy to see you here today. Thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge with the rest of the agents in the market. And I'll be happy to just give you a word to explain to the people who you are, what is your experience, what you would like to share.
Thank you so much. You've already given a very lengthy description of what I've done. Like you said, I worked with 3 developers, a consulting firm, a decade of experience predominantly in real estate. And a year ago, I started my own development company, launched and sold my first project, on the verge of launching the second project. And now we have about 2.5 billion gross development value in the pipeline in the next 8 months to launch.
That's amazing. That's amazing results. And I can only imagine what kind of experience you have while working for bigger developers, now opening your own. Let's start with some of the past things. Like currently you are, you open your own development. And in the market you are for how long?
I've been in Dubai for a little over 8 years.
Over 8 years.
Yeah.
All right, and that is really inspiring. You're like comparing to the rest of the people in the market who are long time here, like 25 years and etc. And in 8 years, it's like, I think it's success.
The market was kind and I was a little lucky too. A lot of people work really hard. I really truly believe that luck plays an important role. Hard work acts as a substitute to whenever you don't have enough luck, you work harder. But yeah, market has been very kind. I entered a market at a very tough time in 2016 to 19, till pandemic rather. We had a continuous downward market, and it's actually an opportunity whenever you're in a downward market. If you're able to perform well, it gets noticed across the market. So the developer where I was working, I did well, I grew a lot. And the competition, which is the even more large development company, they noticed it and then they hired me from there. So I always see down market as an opportunity. And I did good in that opportunity. I think that's what led to and catapult a slightly accelerated career growth.
All right, that's amazing. And especially starting your own, now having all this experience, I will just repeat once again, it's a dream for a lot of people, even for those who are very long in the market to then to open their own firm for the construction, not the construction, for the development, to be as a developers.
I agree. Most people do dream of starting their own, whichever industry they are in. But it's just a lot of work. A lot of people do not realize that doing a full-time job, even in the most aggressive environment, is 1/4 of probably 1/10 of the amount of work, stress and work you have to do for your own company. I was lucky enough to do it at a stage in career where capital was not a problem for me, but for most entrepreneurs that remains a problem. So somehow things fell into place. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, like you said, for a very long time. And I just wish everyone who wishes to do it, just jump into it. Things do fall into place. It didn't start very well when I started mine. The first development project that I signed got cancelled. But then I started working, and now 6 developments, 1 already launched, 5 more in pipeline. It does eventually, as long as we work hard, we work with all our honesty, things do fall in place.
All right, and how did you start it? Was it like that there was a great potential for receiving investment and then utilize it for development, or how started your journey?
I've worked in multiple markets in real estate. Dubai is the only market where I've seen where people come and say, I want a building, I want 4 floors, I want 3 buildings. So I realized if the input capital, not of an institutional investor, but versus an individual investor, is in hundreds of millions of dirhams, that means they can actually finance an entire development by a single investor. I do not need to go to a private equity or a real estate fund. I can just identify a single investor who can fund each project. And that's how I started. So the first 4 developments of mine, I made a feasibility. I found the investor, each one for each project. A lot of people in market really helped me. I have a lot of friends in real estate industry. They kept putting forward a good word. And the fifth development, I've actually done it on my own now. I do not need an investor, but maybe in later, if some investor wants to come in, I would take them on board. But that's how the journey started, and that's how I could see that it is a possibility in the market. And another gap that existed in the market is either the developers were very huge or they were very small. There was no mid-scale developer who was truly trying to identify market gaps and servicing those. Yes. So with a good product, with the right price, right location, understanding what the consumer wants, product becomes highly sellable. My first development was an average ticket size of 14 million, whereas most private developers start in markets like JVC or Jan Furjan with studios, one bedrooms, a ticket size of $1 million or so. We were very confident on the product that we were designing and developing, and then hence we were very confident on the 14 million ticket size. And as market took it, we were sold out in 4 days.
Whoa, that's fast. That's fast. How many units was there?
It was 30 units. It was a 425 million gross development value.
Amazing, amazing. And I know that last time when we spoke, you said that all your investors are coming through different channels as referrals, which means that you have a good reputation in the market. That's how the investors are coming just
Market has been kind. It goes two way. Yes, of course. Dubai is a tiny market, so maintaining reputation in terms of ethics and in terms of performance is a must for anybody who wants longevity in the market. But at the same time, there are investors also looking for opportunities. So it's not just entrepreneurs like me who are looking for investors. Yeah. There are also many investors looking for opportunities to put in the 100, 200, 300 million at a 25%, 30%, 40% IRR. Which is predominantly what real estate development gives them.
Yes, yes. All right. If we speak about the legal part, what it takes to be a developer? Like, what are the rules on the market?
You need to own one land. When you own a land, you need to set up a real estate development company. The regulation is actually so you can become a developer in multiple ways. You can do build to rent, you can do build to sell, you can take up a leasehold, you can do a single villa, or you can do a multifamily unit, what is known as an apartment complex. Guideline is very well set by the regulatory authorities here. You require municipal approvals, master developer approvals, design approvals. Very simple process. I think anybody can come here, and Dubai has made it so easy that anybody can and are already coming here from different parts of the world, starting their own developments here, selling them off. And regulatory framework now is very strong. So the risk is highly minimized, even if it's a first-time developer who's into the market.
Yes, yes. And what is the amount the developer has to put? What is the percentage from the old building?
So the regulation states that, so you have to, if you're launching the project and off-plan, land has to be 100% owned by the developer. Okay. And the escrow account, depending upon your company's situation, anywhere between 20 to 50% of the construction amount needs to go into the escrow account before you could even begin sales. You would get a permission to sell from regulatory bodies. Yeah. So when you already put in so much of capital, it's only 15 or 20% of the remaining sales, sometimes 30% of sales, which kind of finances the rest of the construction. And at that stage, there are also financial institutions like banks and non-banking financial companies which can come forward and bridge any financing gap that comes through. Earlier, the lands used to be on payment plan when launched. So it was the leverage towards the land and the leverage towards the construction. So the risk was slightly higher. It's highly minimized now.
Okay, so about that is clear. The next step after you got the land, you have to create a project, right? So how will you do that?
Majority of the lands are bought from master developers. Mm-hmm. And there is a set development guideline on how much you can build, which is from the FAR or the GFA. What sort of unit mix you can create. For example, the entire Maidan site does not allow studios. Dubai Islands has an average size of, I think, 120 square meter per unit for a building. And then at the same time, Furjan has a different average size. So there are guidelines set. Within those guidelines, you go to an architect. Architects here are pretty hands-on. We call them consultants because they also help in the approval process. So those architects are eventually able to design something that fits into the guidelines set for that particular plot. And then, of course, there's developers' input on the design, on the unit mix, on what sort of specifications they want to use. For example, for one of the latest projects which I'm doing, but I'm not, that's not the one I'm developing. I'm only doing the design management, sales, and marketing. We created a 35-meter wave pool, which gives a beach illusion on the podium. So understanding such requirements of what the buyer wants right now, and that was very well perceived by the market. And developer then, eventually after that, you go through the regulatory process with your drawings, attain all the necessary approvals, and then you go to the market and you launch.
Okay. And when you choose the land for your clients, you are suggesting them which land is the best. What are your opinion? What is now on the market?
I'm very bullish on the south side, primarily because of the stats, which multiple research reports say that about 1 million people will be working there in south, which includes the new airport, Expo City, Palm Jebel Ali, Jafza. Million people working means about 1.5 million people household population. That's about 450, 500,000 houses. I do not know the current supply, but if I have to guess, there must be some 40, 50,000 ready units, 40, 50,000 under construction. So if at all, which most likely it will, Dubai will have the airport which it says it will have the Expo City transforming into what they said it will, Palm will come up the way it's expected to come, then there's a massive shortage of housing supply towards the southern side of the city. So I'm very bullish on that, but it's an emerging market, so you can't do really high ticket there. Alain Road for Maidan, followed by Wadi Al Safa. We see a lot of villa developments coming there. In fact, even I am coming up with a villa development there, about 1 million square foot, which would be a high-end development. It's closer to downtown. So that also has an opportunity. See, honestly, there's always a price to opportunity trade-off. At the right price, any location can become an opportunity, and even the best location at a wrong price is not an opportunity. So we need to then, once my investors agree that they want to work with me in a certain model, then I start identification of the land after that, not before that.
True. And what do you think is the most common mistakes that developer does?
So from a local developer point of view, the regional giants, they have become so confident, and rightly so, that they're selling everything that they put in the market. They're giving very less time to research. That's where a smaller developer comes in, provides better designs, and gets premium. The example of that is Emaar and Damac being giants, and Omniat creating a niche with luxury, Ellington creating a niche with higher specifications, Shobha creating a niche for themselves by positioning around quality. So they always, because they are so big, they are not anymore agile. And for the smaller developers, what I realized is when they come into the market, they really do not understand the market so well. So rather than putting, and most of them do not put enough time to understand it. They go by the mindset of what they do maybe in Moscow or Turkey or India or Pakistan, wherever they have their development company or businesses. So I believe that their global expertise needs to be regionally aligned. I see gaps there somehow, but because our framework is so rigid, regulatory bodies do not allow them to make catastrophic mistakes which would lead to losses.
Yes, definitely. And that we can see. When the new developer coming, they think it's the same rules like in their country, but apparently it's not. And I believe that Dubai is a very different market than the rest. And if we talk about the marketing, what I think is important on the marketing side from developer? By the way, I started my career from a marketing role, so I'm a marketer by background. But I have a theory behind it. A philosophy rather. I really believe that marketing as an emotion or a feeling only operates when you do not have to put high-level calculations. So when I'm counting millions of dollars, my emotions kind of go weak. They don't become zero, but my logic picks up. And real estate is a high-ticket transaction. So logic will always prevail over marketing. And at the same time, it's not a consumer product. So marketing, in most cases, is not able to give the return on investment that a developer or a
anybody who's distributing a large project wants. Distribution is the key to real estate success. We have seen it world over, from Western countries to Eastern countries. Dubai has a very strong distribution network. The brokers here are extremely aggressive, highly knowledgeable, great personality, very customer centric. And that distribution model remains the key to success for any developer.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that developers don't give some, let's say, not guarantee, but but calculations on the possible return on investment?
I would tell you why I wouldn't do that. I would tell you why, I can't say why others don't give it. The thing is, Dubai has in the past been a very fluctuating and a flamboyant market. It has gone down 50% to the price, and then it has come up 150%, and then it has gone down again. And the similar trend has been seen in rents. So we do not know what cycle we would be in 3 years. So if somebody asks me, as of today's market, I could give them a potential return. Now, it could be up, it could be down, and only God knows what's going to happen. The only uncertainty about any investment in the world is that it's uncertain. The moment uncertainty drives trade, the moment something becomes certain, nobody wants to sell it. If your house is tomorrow going to become double the value, as much as I try today, you're not going to sell it to me. We'll be in a market deadlock. It's only when there's uncertainty you will think, okay, I've made enough money or I've lost enough money, and another person sees it as an opportunity. That's when the trade happens. So the uncertainty drives trade, and that's why I would say it's a best practice not to promise anything. But for the current market, I would always give an indicative trend if somebody asks me.
Yes, based on some things that is currently in the area, and why not? If we speak about the sales, so you are completing your sales through the agent channel.
Yes.
And also your previous experience is all through the agents of the
I
sales.
have done a lot of direct sales from marketing. I moved to direct sales. I actually established the roadshows department, or the international activation department, for one of the largest companies, doing about 700, 800 roadshows a year, which was predominantly direct sales. But that's a lot of effort for very less return. Distribution is easier. What I realized much later in my career. But also, from the moment I moved to Dubai till now, the number of agents in Dubai has increased about 5,000%. So there weren't enough agents in the market when I was working for those billion-dollar companies to be able to sell their stock. They couldn't rely on the market agent. But now we have a substantial number of agents. I still think there's scope for more agents to be in Dubai market. But for now, distribution remains the best method. Marketing should be done in a way that your distributor, which is predominantly the agent or a brokerage company, should be able to present your product well.
And how you would advise to build the relationship between developer and agent?
Engagement. Relationships are sticky. They always happen by meeting, talking. I always say over-communicate. Whenever you want a relationship to establish, you over-communicate. Don't suffocate, but over-communicate. Keep meeting, keep talking, keep explaining your product, keep explaining your philosophy, understand their pain points, genuinely try to solve those pain points. And but the Dubai developers are pampering brokers, so
yeah.
I really don't see that as a market gap. Everybody is really pampering all the brokerage companies in Dubai.
You know, recently I met with one of the new developers, and they were like, whoa, we're shocked. These guys are receiving cars, Rolex, good commissions. Like, wow, that's a lot.
You're still seeing it in the upmarket. There was a time commissions were 7-8%, and people used to get luxury cars and millions of dirhams as incentives every quarter and annual. But the market was very slow that time. I believe right now in the market, the commissions that every developer pays is very healthy. This enables a brokerage company to make a very healthy profit and do good marketing, train their team well, put them in good offices. And even the developer does not put too much stress on the consumer by giving higher commissions. Right now, we are at a very healthy stage in the market.
True. And how do you think 50,000 agents is not a big number of agents?
I really don't think it's a big number. First of all, I do not believe that the number is 50,000. I believe that it's around close to 25,000. Because some do rental, some do not, some are not in the industry, some have gone back. We just keep adding the number without removing the number. The registered agents are actually 1/3 of that. So considering there are 25,000 agents in the market is going to do 400 billion in sales volume. So each agent on a 4% commission has an average income of close to, if I can calculate, around 700,000 dirhams a year. That's close to $200,000 average income. And an average income for a New York-based agent is $50,000. So it's 4 times. I don't say we need to make it as low as a New York agent, but at least somewhere in the middle, 100,000 is a very decent average income for any industry, actually much more than decent. So I really think that we may need more agents in the market. And those are the agents that eventually market Dubai and how it's living in Dubai to their countries, to their friends, to their investors, adding on to the positive sentiment of Dubai that already exists.
Yes, I think it's important also to note about the quality of the agents itself, because there might be 25,000 agents who are like active on sales. However, there might be agents who are just calling themselves agents, but they are struggling in closing deals, but still, like, it's a lot of them. The quality is...
I really believe if you speak about active agents, the number of active agents that have at least closed one deal ever since they've joined real estate industry, a sales transaction, I would say it would be 20-30% of the number that we are speaking. So that makes the average income of that 30% 3x the number that we were talking. So they are eventually making millions. And that's why we see, and it's all for their hard work. Those guys are putting in a lot of hard work, giving up on their personal time, on their weekends, on their family life. They don't see their kids being raised up. So they're being incentivized for that.
True. It's hard work.
It's hard work. It's very hard work.
And some tips for maybe new developers who are joining the market, based on your experience. What kind of systems, like CRM systems, are used in order to track the activity of the agent with your development? How was in your experience in different developments?
So far, honestly, it's a market gap. In the developers that I've worked, we actually had to develop our own ERP and give agents the access, but we had the capital to develop an ERP and a broker engagement system or an inventory system, what we call. I think 3 of the developers in Dubai have it. And nobody else has it. So there's a gap in the market. A lot of people try to use their own, but if I'm an agent, I'm not going to download an app for a developer who has 2 buildings. It's as good as useless to me. I might as well call the salesperson who's there to service me. With the larger developers, the top 3 who have it, they roughly contribute about 30 to 40% of the primary market share. So it makes sense for them to have such an app. For others, they need a solution. And you guys have you have a very lovely platform. When we met, I was very impressed by what you're doing. And I really think you could handhold a smaller developer really well in the Dubai market.
Thank you. Yes, and especially when the agent can see it in one place, all the developers, and see the online availability. But if we speak about the sales, like CRM within the organization, how to ensure that your salespeople work efficiently, that the interaction with an agents are covered well?
Honestly, CRMs don't do that. Typically, automation tools do that. CRMs are as basic as even the best of the CRMs like Salesforce, or a lot of people use some other tools which are smaller, more agile, but that doesn't ensure good work. Automation of the process is something that puts a dashboard towards the management which shows how many offers were sent, how many people were engaged, but nobody is going to make a system phone call through computer and make a call. So it needs to be integrated to the telephony to get a log. For example, even if it's an incoming call from an agent to my phone, my CRM should record it. It's not that difficult of an automation. Surprised that nobody has done it.
True, right?
Yeah, but it's a simple automation. So that's how they can track it better.
True. I'm in business development for the past 9 years. I was in different industries, and I'm used to that. When you have any other business in real estate, you have clients. It's customer relationship management system where you can see everything that was going on. Here, I never saw it.
It doesn't exist. Yeah. Even in the large developers that you're talking about, where I have been at position, I don't know now from the last 2 years since I'm not doing a job there, but they never had a very good system to track activity. They have very good reporting systems to track business performance, team performance, but activity tracking is still a challenge, and it's actually a simple thing. It's just that they go with a giant big name, which are not very agile softwares, and then they have to move around their entire company's process according to the software versus adjusting a software to their company practices. And that's where they struggle. And in Middle East, we are kind of used to taking big names. We do not give a lot of scope to startups who actually have much better tools.
And what about the KPIs for your sales team? How does it work? How you settle the sales targets? Or
you said something in the middle. I couldn't get a reply to that. I do not do direct sales. my development company, we do everything to brokers. We do not do a single marketing campaign on our own. Instead, what we do is we create great marketing material and sales tools for the brokers to provide them and guide them very well on how to sell our product. So our KPI is trainings, broker meetings, broker trainings. We do not even worry how many of them are actually coming and closing, because if you follow this, that's a byproduct. Sales is a byproduct and eventually happens. So engagement and trainings is predominantly the KPI which my sales team operates by.
That's a brilliant thought. That's a brilliant thought, because many people don't, like, especially the one who is in sales for not very long time, they don't understand what is the magic sales. But actually, it's just what you do before sale. All these activities leads to sale later on.
And real estate is a very it's an industry that really hasn't changed much over, I think, centuries. People were making houses and selling houses probably 500 years ago also. Yeah. They may not call it a real estate development company, but they were doing it. Mm-hmm. The business, it's a simple industry. People try to unnecessarily complicate it, like food, like basic, like healthcare. Real estate is a bare minimum requirement, like air, like water. You need shelter. Like in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's one of your basic needs. So if it's a basic need, everybody needs it. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Just make a good product, service your client well, make sure you reach customers, make sure your distribution channel is well trained on why your product is good, deliver a good product, treat your customers well. That's the key to success.
True. And if we speak related to the sale in the perspective of still building the relationship with an agencies, what is your key on how to build a relationship with your potential partner? It doesn't matter if it's developer agent or it's agent client, it's the same, I guess.
Personally, for me, I'm not a very social person, so it's a bit of a challenge being in sales role where I had to only work with agents. But over a period of time, most of them have become my good friends. Like majority of the real estate companies that work with me, if I can think about it, not just the owners, the staff, the agents, I have so many friends in the industry. For me, what worked is I truly became their friend with not an intent that they're going to help me in my business or I'm going to help them in theirs. We just became friends. And that worked for me. But what would work is predominantly if somebody's new and doesn't have an existing relationship, is meet, build a relationship, talk, meet, understand the problem, solve the problem. That's it. There is no substitute to meeting.
And how you would, like, for example, if you're trying to build a relationship with an agency, like, or your team, try to do that, what is the steps? For example, in my practice, when I was working in the big developer, I had 5 steps to activate agency, what leads to activation, which means that I'm suggesting something in marketing, I'm making sure that they're doing campaigns and blah, blah, blah. Meeting, doing trainings, inviting them to the office. What is your, let's say, kind of list of steps?
Mine is just they honestly, it's simpler. I'll make it 2 steps. First, they answer the call and then they allow us to do the training where their entire team is there. We deliver our training very well. Our teams actually rehearse and prepare for our training presentation from every sales member is exactly the same. Every objection is answered. Every question that we hear over the first 10 trainings is somehow incorporated back into the training presentation. As long as they give me space, I really am not a big believer of marketing leads to sales. Mm-hmm. Most of the sales in brokerage companies happen through referrals, happen through networking. Marketing maybe contributes 10% to the business, and I'm being very generous to the marketing contribution. So I really don't care whether they do a campaign or not. As long as they give me enough attention to spend an hour with me, let me go through my presentation, ask me questions around it, I have a decent attendance of the number of agents, that's 99% of my job done. 1% of my job is after that making sure somebody else doesn't take their attention away if something comes in the competition. And then I would think that who it is and what I'm supposed to do to mitigate that competition.
And how to make agents choose your product and to be one of the products that they're going to offer to the client? What do you think is the reasons why they would choose?
See, agents are very smart. And most of the agents have certain clients who they really take care of. They don't want to give them something bad and lose that client for good. Because when they sell once, they resell it, they rent it, they rebuy. So it's an entire life cycle. It's not just clients one transaction. So honestly, the truth goes back to product. I would not put it in marketing. I would not put it in sales. You actually need to design and develop of course, it's on the paper, but with the specification, sizing, pricing, you need to develop a good product in order to make sure that the agents would genuinely take your product to the market. If your product is not good, as close as they may be to you, the chances of them cheating their close client with whom they will have a 50 transaction life cycle is next to nil. So a lot of people just think here, let's give a couple of % higher and we'll sell everything. Doesn't work. Honestly, and the largest developer here, a government entity, pays the lowest commission but still sells the most because their product is good. Their communities are better so far. I don't know, in the future somebody may make better communities. So far they've delivered phenomenal communities, phenomenal products. Their clients have made money. So even at lower commissions, brokers would prefer to sell that because that's the right product for the consumer. So to answer this, we have to go to product, not sales.
But your current strategy is more about the quality agents rather than quantity. Do I understand correctly?
In a way, yes. It's just that at my stage, from a company point of view, I can segregate. From an agent point of view, I cannot. So yes, I do know who are the top companies. RERA has numbers, developers keep giving awards, so it's public information. So I would know who are the top 50 companies in off-plan real estate market, which is predominantly my interest, and then to approach them. Mostly their agents are good, but I have never gone to an agent level unless I happen to meet them or network with them over transactions to understand who the good agents are or done something separately for them. It's predominantly very company driven.
Okay, understood. And from the perspective of a developer, like for your team, when they're meeting different agencies, do you see a tendencies, for example, as a new developer, that the sales are happening also very often from smaller companies rather than the big?
Yeah. So three years ago, actually more than 50, about 60 to 75% of Dubai off-plan market was top 5 companies. Yeah. Now, actually, those top 5 companies combined should be, I don't know the number, but if I have to make a calculated guess, 35%. So smaller developers have taken a larger chunk now. So any development company who's only focused on the top companies, yes, they're providing good product, etc. But they will not be able to scale because they're ignoring 70% of the market. So anybody needs to focus, as a broker, you need to focus on everything, try and identify opportunities which come all across the city rather than sticking to only one developer. This is what I would recommend to a broker. And then typically in the form of attendance, it's very much, honestly, I read a stat somewhere that Q1 we had every 24 hours, 1.5 launch. So that means there's a launch daily. So you cannot expect everybody to leave everything and be attentive only for the trainings and stop their work completely and just keep attending trainings. So yeah, some of them miss, some of them don't miss. It's a part of life. We go to a company, maybe half of them are not there, they're not there. We try and go again if we feel it's required. Sometimes we don't and we move on. At least for me, I'm not launching hundreds of billions, I'm launching 3 billion, which is the capacity of 10 companies to sell if they really focus. So as long as I reach 100 companies for each of my product, I am more or less secured of the distribution. Then the challenge is my price and my product, but I know my product will be distributed well enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also think that earlier you said about what makes agents sell your product. It's when it's good. It's very simple, right? And it's proven 200,000 times already in the market. When it's actually a good product, then there is no need of extra commissions or some really big push. Me personally, I really like developers who has some kind of history and vision behind. That is something that when I see, I admire. You know, when there is some kind of thought put in it. Yeah. What about your development?
See, I'm a startup, so I don't have a history. The history is my work pedigree, my academic pedigree, but so far I haven't delivered anything. But I am using the vendors, the consultants, the contractors, the service providers, which are top of the market. As a startup, I'm really spending a lot of money on that, so I don't want to make anything go wrong. Cash flow wise, because I sell quick, cash flow wise, my projects are really secure, so I'm able to afford expensive vendors to provide me, whether the construction services or the consulting services or anything else. But from the vision point of view, the long-term vision is actually in each micro market where I am, I provide the best product there. I cannot provide the best product on Dubai because I do not have a land on the tip of Atlantis or somewhere in Marina or on a reclaimed beach. So wherever I am, as long as I provide the best product of that market, which is rightly priced, rightly spec'd, rightly delivered, I'm good. For example, for one of our projects, we're giving a 5-year defect liability period. So, which is the one that I'm about to launch now in Furjan. So that itself shows the customer how confident we are on what we are developing. So they should also be confident on us because we are giving a 5-year defect liability period against a 1-year, which is a regulated defect liability period in the market.
True. And I was thinking as well that maybe history was the wrong word, but better say vision. And I think that you are the best example of what I mean by vision of the company and the way how you select the land, how you think of the projects. And once you can present it to the agent, I believe that that's what makes agents stick to you and be focused on your sales. That's a very good thing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, that's very interesting to understand and hear your point of view. Regarding the PropTech, you also are into that. Like you also know about all the trends that is happening currently on the market. What is your vision about PropTech in Dubai? Where is it going?
World over, PropTech, and I've been reading this for 7-8 years now, and I'm getting tired of reading it, that it's an opportunity about to be explored, but nobody yet has cracked it. Yeah. But it is a big opportunity. Technology adoption wise, our industry is probably one of the most backward compared to anything else that we have in the market. Travel and tourism has more technology. E-commerce is of course a technology driven business. Automobile has more technology. There are self-driving cars. But in real estate, somehow, whether it's PropTech or the use of technology in construction, we are still way behind other industries in the curve. But at the same time, like I said, it's a big opportunity. Anybody who is able to crack any single one of them has a potential to bring a disruption in the entire industry. True. What you are doing right now, honestly, it was also a need of a market to aggregate all the brokers into a single platform, bring them all the developers there who they do not have access to, sometimes do not even know names of, and humanly we have just 24 hours a day, so how many places can we go to? You bring all that information onto a single platform. It was a much needed product in the market. You did it, and I wish you luck. You just started and you're doing phenomenal, and I'm sure you're going to continue this way.
Thank you. And what about your experience in the bigger developers? Have you had any kind of experience? For example, there was a moment when the virtual reality was very popular, when there was the VR rooms.
I remember those times.
Was that successful, or was it like a bit of?
I'll tell you. I did my first VR sales center in 2011. For a developer in India. So it was a forest living. So, you could see peacocks around you on the table, etc., etc. It was a good gimmick. Everybody did like to see it, but it was not leading to sales. So there's a technology gap here. The post-production to make a render look photorealistic does not happen on augmented reality. Okay. Even PlayStation, which has augmented reality games, are not able to post-produce. So if you see a PlayStation game, there's a 15 seconds trailer before the game, which is photorealistic. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly it's not as photorealistic. It starts becoming a little raw. Yeah. Because of the same reason, when you put anything in AR and VR, you are not able to add textures, the lighting. So for a mass product, but we don't have such products in Dubai. There are products for $20,000-$30,000 available in a lot of countries in the world. It may work because people are not expecting a high-end lifestyle in Dubai. Even the cheapest micro market is luxury micro market compared to entire Southeast Asia, which are predominantly the biggest buyers in Dubai. So you cannot really give a bad experience, bad look and feel because of that technology. So I really think that also requires some amount of work. Somebody will crack it. I see Unreal 5 gaming engine being able to have really photorealistic gaming. Yeah. So somebody will do something very soon, and we'll see more adoption in AR and VR formats in real estate as well.
I'm doubting it because I think in Dubai the products are selling so fast that nobody from the client of it's selling very fast even without it.
Well, I hope and pray it continues doing that. But as nature has it, we will see sometimes sales velocity slowing down. We will see sometimes people wanting to see more of what the product is rather than just betting on Dubai's success. Currently, people are not buying a real estate product. How I see it, they're buying a share into Dubai Real Estate Index. It's an index fund which has multiple companies so somebody is just putting money in real estate index of Dubai. So they are not that attached to the product. Now sometimes, okay, they may not choose one company and they may choose another one, but their big bet is Dubai real estate as an industry, and hence it really doesn't matter what the product is. But with end users, it would. Even now, if somebody is making a 40-50 million dirham house in Palm, a consumer would want to go through it. Recently, we saw one of the large developers doing a World Island project, and they had lovely models, lovely renders. It was really required to actually show what they are going to develop there. So definitely didn't happen in an AR or VR format, but the architectural model, the renders, the videos, the animation, they were stunning. And if without that, they would have struggled. So I wouldn't say that it wouldn't. It would, maybe the adoption would not be enough now, but it would be later.
All right, and how do you think, if there is something that will be created that can show to the client the best, like out of calculations, maybe there is some kind of algorithm that is boom, 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 and showing what is the best property to buy, which is not like it's real calculation. At some point it might exist or no? How do you think? Can it exchange agent?
Honestly, it's very simple coding. I haven't developed the tool yet, but with real estate data, it's very easy to find out which building in Marina, for example, has the highest ROE. I can do it with an Excel sheet. You download the buildings, you put a formula to see average price versus average rental and the rental yield if somebody is looking at that. Or you may look at 3 years Excel and see a price upward trend and predict a trend for this. It's a very simple AI plugin which can do that. I'm surprised nobody has, but I hope somebody does it very quick. But it's a simple plugin. It can be done, but again, like I said, the only certainty in any investment is it's uncertain. So whatever you may put a prediction, it may or may not happen, and that's the backbone of any investment. So, but yeah, to answer the question, it's not very tough coding to be able to actually give trends. Say in Marina, there's X building with the highest ROI in terms of rental, and you can actually factor in the service fee because that's also public information. You can do that for downtown. You can also say you can predict trends like if you're listing and how much time will your unit be sold, because this building unit sells in 45 days, this building unit sells in 15 days, this is a higher transacting building, this is a lower. So you can make some sort of a score for each of these categories and give the building some score, and a person can pick top 2 or 3 choices out of that.
And do you think that then agent will be not needed?
I don't think ever the agent will not be needed, at least in the new. Somebody asked me this question about 3 years ago, and I would want to give the same answer. Agents have not been removed from any industry. Amazon is an agent. It's just a digital agent, but it's still an agent. So nobody removed the distributor. It just changed, the form of distribution changed. There'll still be distributors. Whether it will be one-on-one, whether a robot will be answering on a computer, there'll be a bot answering that, I don't know. I'm not so much into technology to keep predicting trends rightly. But I think, yes, there will be some change, but agent will exist. Middleman has not been eliminated yet, and it wouldn't be, because nobody has ever been able to attain scale without middlemen. Nobody has been able to attain scale on just D2C. Everybody has to go to distributors, which may be Amazon or in our case Noon, and then each country, India has Flipkart, Pakistan may have something else. So for my product, if I want my product to sell, I would want it to be on all of those platforms. Similarly, agents right now I want my real estate product to sell, I want all the agents to market it. Some of them may become technology platforms and I would want them to be on technology platform, but I'll look at the technology platform as a middleman or as an agent.
Yes, that's interesting. I agree with you. I think at some point it might happen that this kindly can shift. And let's have a last, let's say, few points. Imagine that we will categorize in 3 things. There is a new developer, agent, and investor. To each of them, you have to give an advice Let's start with a new developer who is just coming to the market. You've been through so many things, and if you would come to yourself a bit earlier and you could give yourself advice for a new developer, what would you...
In my case, it's slightly different because I was still within the market, so I knew market challenges. But let's say a new developer, if I was just moving from another country to, I would say unlearn everything that you know and restart learning. Forget the product you make, forget the pricing that you have, the costing that you have, the mix that you do. Forget your own market. Come with a fresh mind, unlearn everything you know, and learn the best practices here and adopt them.
Okay, that's good advice. Now for the agent, we know that there's so many projects, so many developers in the market. They're overwhelmed. Thousands of groups, chats. Agents can easily go crazy. What advice you would give to the agent who might be in the market for a while, however still don't understand how to catch the developer in the right time, how to find the best product? What kind of advice?
See, everybody should create a niche. If an agent tries to do everything, they'll end up doing nothing. They can identify a niche, a particular market area, a particular ticket size, secondary or primary. Like, let's say I, as a secondary agent, want to do only Maidan. It's a big micro market to pay me millions. And then if I want to extend, I can maybe extend a Dubai Hills estate next to it, or maybe a Jadaf next to it, or a business bay next to it. So I can extend, but I need to specialize in one. And if I'm doing off plan, either I pick up a category of 1 to 2 million dirham products, or I pick up 5 to 7 million products. I shouldn't jump into everything. If I'm doing mostly waterfront, my audience is different, my clientele is different. So if I'm in Palm, JBR, Marina, MR Beachfront, I should stick to a similar product size because even the referral is like-minded. So if I like beachfront, most likely my friends have a similar mindset to mine. That's why they're my friends. So my referral will be most likely for beachfront. It could be something else, but most likely it's going to be beachfront. So it's better sticking to one category. And there's an advice which one of my very close friends from real estate industry gave me. He said, most people in Dubai, if you ask them, how many people do you know? If they're not in a sales role, they'll say 50, 60 or 100 people. Including work, including friends, including family. He says an agent becomes an agent when he actually knows 1,000 people personally. So he said for 3 years, make sure that every day you get to meet one new person every day, prospect one. In 3 years' time, you have 1,000 people who know you, recommend people to you, who come as an opportunity for you to present the product to them every single time. So keep meeting more people, keep meeting their friends, keep networking. That's the backbone.
And what would you say to the agents? For example, there is a different budget. What is the difference between that budget? Because if there would be a new agent, he's thinking, well, I have to focus on the low ticket size. If I can go for a big ticket size, close the deal, get a bigger commission.
Honestly, I see a lot of these motivational speakers saying, it's easy selling Bugatti than probably a Toyota. That's all crap. That's all crap. It doesn't work this way. It's easier selling a cheaper product. It's very difficult selling an expensive product. It's very difficult handling a client who wants to buy a $20 million unit. For that, you need to reach a stage in your career where you're able to talk to a multi-millionaire who knows a lot about the world, who already knows a lot about the market. So you need to really know the market really well. So you can graduate to a stage where you're selling an Emirates Hills or villas in Palm. But from the beginning, if you want to do it, you're just testing your luck. So start with a basic product where you have thousands of people to pitch to and grow upwards from there. Unless somebody has a social circle, there are always anomalies. Let's say I'm a socialite and my father is a very rich guy and I already know already rich people and I want to become an agent. Yeah. Then it's easy for me to penetrate into that network easily. But most people don't have that. For most people, they should start by basics. Start by a 1 million product, smaller ticket size, more audience, and build your way up to higher ticket, more commissions.
And what would be advice for investor? Investor, I think it's also with so much information in the market, with so many agents, with so many developers, products.
Investors are really marketing driven. They are not very product driven. They are not knowledge driven. And I have seen even when somebody tries to educate them on knowledge, they still get driven predominantly by marketing. We have read articles, Dubai is the hub of branded developments. Why? It helps in marketing. They feel it's going to be a more glamorous product. So they're glamour driven. They get attracted to a product which may or may not give them good returns. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Rather, what they should do is study a little more, check data. Data is publicly available. There are portals like yours, other portals like DXB Interact, where information is public. Do the research. Don't blindly trust a friend. Don't blindly trust a broker. Don't blindly trust a developer. Do all the research and then eventually make a transaction decision.
All right.
And do it fast. It's most people just remain fence hitters, thinking we'll do it. They are coming on later to the train, which has already gone way ahead. So Dubai, we all know that every report points out towards a bullish sentiment of Dubai. Everybody right now should jump on this train, whatever they can buy, whether fraction from a startup or a large unit on their own, whether 3 friends combined and a single studio somewhere. But if people have disposable income, they should get onto Dubai real estate investment at the moment. It makes sense.
And if currently some of the investors are watching us, they're also looking for people like you with who they can do a business together. So what they can expect from you when they meet you? Like, it's a first meeting, they say that they have some budget, they would like to invest. What kind of the next steps are happening?
The first step would be knowledge. First thing they need to know is whether I really know the market or I don't know the market. The first thing would be knowledge. The second thing, what they would expect, when I develop by raising money, there's a lot of dependency on me. So it can only happen when there's a lot of faith, trust, clean best practices taking place. We operate on open book. There is nothing hidden. Everything can be questioned. Investor at any stage has the right to interfere or suggest whatever they want to do. For example, I get tiles at an X price and his brother owns a factory of tiles and he gets it at a Y price. So investor has a right to suggest. As long as it's not changing the product, it's enhancing, it's saving money, we're good to even take that. So we operate transparently, and we have, as a team combined, we are the most knowledgeable team in the market at the moment. We've all worked with top developers. We've all been in top positions with those top developers. So as a team, our team is far more superior than the small developers. Mm-hmm. It's as good as the big names of Dubai. Our team is as good as that. Our product is as good as that, rather better, because we are putting heart and soul into it, which they are not anymore. So better products, same team, same amount of passion, and a lot of hunger to grow. So when we are hungry and we operate out of the profit share into the project, we have to make sure that the project gets profitable.
And what is the average ticket size that investor is coming to you? And what is the approximate return on investment that is expected?
My first investor, actually, because the market is in an upswing, we will end up paying about 185% return on equity in a period of 3 years. But I really think that if somebody is doing real estate, if they don't double their money in 3 years, there's something wrong with the investment. Predominantly, that's the right way to invest. But at the same time, there's no thumb rule. Build to rent, it doesn't work this way. You may have to take bank financing. You're looking at different way of returns. So it would depend on product to product. But yeah, over 22% IRR is the bare minimum. We would look at a product. Otherwise, my company would not only recommend a product to an investor if it's not more than 22% IRR for the investor.
You
can ask me more questions. You're allowing me to advertise my company, so you can ask.
But it's very interesting to understand what you think and how is your company built, and that has to be like a heart of every company. Doesn't matter in which industry. If you do it good, right? How do you feel about really? What do you think about our business model, business strategies that we are going?
We met a week ago, and without any business interest into your business, I have no business association. We've already met 4 times. I've had multiple calls with your promoters. I've even spoken to some of your advisors, and we do not have any commercial engagement. So I purely do it because I see you guys doing such a great job, and I see market also needs it. So when I'm helping you, I'm not just helping a startup with the best of my knowledge. I'm also helping Dubai real estate market to get a good product which they also need. So I really think you're building a product, and of course for your own profits, but a product that Dubai real estate markets need, Dubai agents need, Dubai developers need. You found a really good gap. You're addressing that gap, and hence every time anybody from really asks me for time, I make time and I eventually end up speaking to you.
And do you think that we came in the right time to crack the market?
It's always late. I always believe every startup should start as early as they can, but the right time is always now. So you are at the right time. There is still huge opportunity. What you're trying to do, you're the only player. So you have the first mover advantage, you have the learning curve advantage, you have an advantage, you're very well connected to thought leaders in real estate industry. So you are ahead of the knowledge curve and will remain ahead of the knowledge curve.
Thank you, Omar, so much for a very interesting point of view that you have. You really went through a lot of interesting experiences for working in big developers, to leading the business development and marketing, to be head of sales. I can just only guess what is in your head as a knowledge. And thank you so much for sharing it with us today. I'm sure that developer, investor, and agent receive something knowledgeable for themselves that they're going to implement in their life. And we will be happy to see you more often with us, where we can also discuss some maybe cases that can be interesting to the market. And my pleasure to speak with you today.
It's been absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much for all the kind words in the introduction and towards the end. I'm fully flattered. Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Thank you.